What's up guys, Cutthroat Tag this year, and today I'm here with Haruka-Hasane and her special Abigail deck, which I actually fought in one of my Swiss rounds. I got top 8 this time round, so you actually can see my playmat right behind. So I'm right now at Manila, and I'm here with so many awesome fans. You guys are so sweet. Shout out to every one of you guys. So right here I have a deck profile for you as a special request by my awesome Philippine fans. So what's your name? Oh, Haruka-Hasane, right? Alright, so we'll call her Haruka-Hasane for privacy reasons. So right now, I'm going to do an awesome Abigail deck profile. This is probably one of the best Abigail deck I've seen because of the rarity. Check out the double secret flag. Oh my goodness, this is so rare, and I really love this art, and of course the Dragon Roll, the Dragon Force art. So she's like a huge fan of Abigail and Gaito.
When I win, my opponent illegal plays, hiding bomb during his turn.
Alright, so my friend V.I.A just won. Congratulations to him as well. So let's get on with the deck profile. So first up, we have 3 copies of the Blade Great Canyon Discharge. So this card helps you destroy your opponent's deck because whenever it attacks, you basically get to mill 2 cards of your opponent's top deck. So when I was fighting this card in my boy's experience, because I did not play this deck, this is a very, very dangerous card because it allows you to speed up the death towards your opponent's deck out. So I actually decked out, and my opponent used the Dragon Force to finish my life at exactly 5 cards. It is so damn amazing. So actually, this deck is actually very, very powerful, especially against a deck that has a lot of advantage and draw power. So this short skill is whenever it attacks, opponent mills 2 cards, and if your opponent has 50 more cards, you can add 1 Black Dragon from the drop zone back to your hand. It also has the ability to move, so it is definitely getting destroyed for sure. And of course, getting destroyed means you will be able to trigger some of your abilities such as this, so that you will be able to gain pluses and gain back life as well, which is very important because you want to stay alive while milling up your opponents. So next up, 1 copy of Death Wizard Dragon, a very, very classic staple in Darkness Dragon Worlds. Basically, when this card's on the field, enters the field, you can pay 1 life, which is take 1 damage. You must take note that take 1 damage actually is a very important thing. You are able to charge 2 cards from your hand. So by taking 1 damage, you'll be able to get pretty much a plus 1, because gaining 2 gauge is pretty much a +1. 1 copy just because you want to fill up the gauge sometimes. Next up, 2 copies of Black Demon Swordsman Vader. Very, very nice name. Call cost, pay 1 gauge. When this card enters the field, you may call a size 1 or less Black Dragon from the drop zone by calling its call cost. So not only you will be able to get 1 card, you get another card free. So this is free, very, very good because a lot of these cards just help you generate so much advantage and help you mill your opponent's deck out. Next up, the 4 Secret Pack Abigail. So this is a card that I've been waiting for a really, really long time. So call cost, pay 1 gauge. When this card is destroyed, so there are so many cards you can trigger its destruction, even your opponent's battles, you will be able to mill 2 of your opponent cards and draw a card. So combine it with certain cards in the deck, such as this card, you will be able to destroy itself and mill opponent and draw a card. So basically it's a free of cost. So it's such a good card. And it's just he has such good stats as well. 6, 2, 1, very, very good. Able to run down most of size 3 beasts, such as Zodiac, my personal worst nightmare because he's just swinging against my Zodiac just now. Alright, next up, 4 copies of the oldest Abigail. Pay 1 gauge. When this card enters the field, destroy a monster on opponent's field. If you do, put the top 2 cards of opponent's deck into drop zone. So more deck destruction, more control. Controlling the board is the key to winning, and of course decking your opponents out. So once you call multiple copies of these cards, you'll be able to deck your opponents out really, really fast. So 4 copies of Abigail's, because this is an Abigail team deck. So next up, we have 3 copies of Black Diadem Zakrown. So I remember this is used by Gaito in order to charge gauge, because the deck actually needs some gauge to get your things rolling, and it is able to deck your opponent out really fast. So when this card on the field, put the top card of the deck into your gauge. Then if there are 6 or more cards in opponent drop zone, which is pretty much guaranteed because this is a mill deck, you charge an additional gauge. So a very good card. It's basically a Dragonic charge on licks, so you have a monster to do 1 crit to your opponent as well. So next up, 2 copies of Gaito, one of the coolest card in the deck, and is one of the best cards, to be honest. My friend Paddy is one of the, I won't say, I mean he's one of my favorite person to go to when he's using Dungeon World, and he also thinks this card is freaking amazing in Dungeon World. So this is a hybrid card, Dungeon World and Darkness Dragon World. So he's an adventure / Black Dragon. I never knew he could become a dragon, so like, I could be anything, so I became a dragon. So his ability is call cost, pay 1 life, really, really cheap because 1 life is just generally free. When this card attacks, destroy a monster on the opponent's field. So for no cost, this guy is a size 1 that destroys the opponent monsters. And if you destroy a monster, put the cards equals to the top of the opponent's deck equals to the size of the monster. So attack Zodiac get destroyed, then you can charge 3 gauge. Yep, and sorry, it doesn't charge 3 gauge. It basically sends cards from your opponent's top deck. So if you destroy Zodiac when he attacks, your opponent have to mill 3. Very, very good card. And of course, and put cards from the top of the deck into your gauge equals the number of the cards put in this way. So basically it's the same thing. So you destroy Zodiac, charge 3 gauge, mill your opponent 3 cards. Very, very good card. Next up, Abygale SD. Abygale SD, one of my favorite cards because it is so adorable, and with those kittens around. We will have pay 1 gauge when you call, Destiny of Death Dragon. When this card enters the field and you have if you have 5 or more cards in your opponent's drop zone, you can draw a card. So yeah, basically it just replaces itself. Very, very good card. And if your opponent has 50 or more cards, you can destroy 1 card of your opponent, 1 monster on your opponent's field. So control the board. It is a size 0, so you'll be able to call multiple copies of itself on the field. Next up, this one. There's a size 0 monster which is freaking damn amazing. Activate, Wind Summoning Blade, pay 1 gauge and pay 1 life. If you do, call up to 1 Black Dragon monster that is not an impact monster from drop zone by calling its call cost. So it's a size 0 monster that is able to fetch out 1 card. So imagine this card is not only a monster, but it is basically like you can use it as a hand spell to get up to fetch back any of these amazing dragons. So play 2 copies because you want to get your Abigail back to mill opponent out more. Now we all go on to our spells. Is this your buddy? Alright, so this is the amazing buddy, Abigail. Look at the golden border, amazing. And Abigail is one of my favorite characters because of the fact that he seems so deadly, but he's such an adorable dragon inside. It's like the pizza cutter dragon, we call it. So next up, spells. We play 3 copies of Dark Dragon Shield because Black Dragon Shield is able to gain you 1 life. It's basically the green dragon shield in the world, in this Darkness Dragon world. So help tank out while you deck your opponents out. Perfect defense. Next up, 4 copies of Black Cloth Blade. Black Cloth Blade is a secret card from the secret pack. You may only cast the card during an attack on your opponent's turn, and if you do not have a monster in the center, counter nullify the attack and put the top card of the opponent's deck into the drop zone. More deck destruction and more nullification. Amazing for this deck. 3 copies of Gale Destruction. You may only cast this card if you have an Abigail buddy, so you can card cost is 1 gauge. Counter, destroy a size 2 or less monster on your opponent's field and put the top 2 cards of your opponent's deck into the drop zone. So very good for controlling the board. Opponent's gonna attack you with a monster, destroy a monster and mill them out. Next card, one of my personal favorites. It is the Devil Stigma, very, very old classic. If your opponent's gonna penetrate your center monster, Devil Stigma it and make him miss the targets, and you'll be able to charge the top 2 cards of the deck into your gauge and gain 1 life. So it's just so good. Alright, next up is Abyss Symphony. Our basic draw spells. When you're 6 life or less, you can cast this. You can pay 1 gauge, draw 2 cards. You may only cast this once per turn. That's for extra draw power so that you get into more Abigails. And there's actually 1 extra copy, so there's 3 in total, 2 with the Gaito art. So let's compare the difference. Obviously the Gaito art is much better, right guys? Yeah. So yeah, Gaito art's just amazing. Look at all those dark dragons behind. Next up, 2 copies of this card from the DCBT. This is Parallel Foil, amazing. So equip up to 1 item from your drop zone by calling its equip cost. Then you have 10 or more cards in your opponent's drop zone, which is guaranteed because this is a milled out deck instruction. Call up to 1 size 2 or less Black Dragon from your drop zone by calling its call cost. So just like that, you'll be able to call 1 size 2 or less monster, which is Abigail. It's very easy. Equip 1 item for free and get the Abigail back. Right? So right now I'm going to go into our weapons first. 2 copies of the weapon. A Blood Drain Sword Buddyfight. So it's a parallel foil. It's a double rare actually, but it looks amazing. It's a dagger. Equip cost, pay 1 gauge and you take 1 damage. Very interesting because Darkness Dragon World doesn't have you pay 1 life, but you take 1 damage. So you can actually use it if Bounce Away, you don't take the damage. It's pretty cool. Next up, Shadow Dive. This card can attack your monster even if there's attack your opponent if there's a monster in the center. So very good against Atora. Yeah, Atora like, oh my, I can't guard that. Yeah. So when this card deals damage to your opponent, draw a card. Wow. So basically it's a free draw power against Atora. Simply amazing. It's a good side deck card as well if you're playing Darkness Dragons because of that Shadow Dive. Alright. 2 more Dragon Forces. This is the original Dragon Force that Gaito got. He was so desperate to get it, and he finally got it. He was so happy about it because he was like the child of destiny. So, release condition: you have 6 life or less, and you have a monster with Abigail in the name on your field. So you must have Abigail, similar to Bao. Pay 2 gauge. This card cannot be destroyed nor returned to its hand. Very good. So it won't be destroyed by opponent card effects. When this card attacks when this card is attacked, is nullified. When this card attacks or this card. So basically, when this card attacks or is nullified, you can put a top 3 cards of the opponent's deck into the drop zone. So it's a weapon that even speeds up your opponent's death by attacking out. Freaking amazing. So finally, we have the Dragon Force style of Retaliation, similar to our friends like the style of Impact. Abigail has own form. This card is the card that I died to. It's a secret pack. When you are dead, you can activate this ability, and you must have an Abygale monster. So whenever your opponent thinks he's finally won, this is one of the best screw you cards, because it's like, oh my, just now I actually felt I suffered it because I left 5 cards in my deck and I destroyed my opponent with the card, and he called this. And literally just milled my last 5 cards of the deck. It's amazing. I like almost you guys should see me get destroyed by this card. So it's an amazing card. So pay, if your lives will become 0, pay 2 gauge and discard a card from your hand, and your life become 1. So you can revive. Amazing. And you can destroy 1 card on opponent's field, 1 card on the opponent's, 1 monster on opponent's field, and then build the top 5 cards of their deck. So that's the Dragon Force. So you have 2 choices of Dragon Force, and of course you can gain advantage with this card early game. Next up, let's go on to our impact monsters. Let's go on with the classic, the 6 crit beast. When this card first released, it is one of the strongest impacts. Cost, pay 3 gauge and destroy a black dragon on the field. So when this card enters the field during a final phase, destroy all monsters on the field other than this card. So basically control your opponent's board, and you will be able to become 6 crit, because when there's 6 or more cards in your opponent's drop zone, this card gains a 3 crit. So this is a 6 crit monster. I apologize guys, because right now I'm at the event hall, so it's really cool because V.I.A finally got first place. It was his dream. Hopefully I'll get one on my next country visit. Yeah. So next up we have Unlimited Death Drain. So Unlimited Death Drain, 2 copies. One of my favorite impacts. Basically when this card is core cost is pay 3 gauge and put a and destroy 2 black dragons on your field. So it's really easy because this deck is full of size 1 and size 0 monsters. And the best part of it, they get destroyed and they gain advantage. So this card is, when this card enters the field during the final phase, put the top 10 cards of opponent's deck into a drop zone. More destruction, especially very good because this milling top 10 with a cost of 3 gauge is just so dang good. So when this card attacks and your opponent has 20 or more cards in their drop zone, deal 2 and you heal 2. So very good card because not only you'll be dealing a lot of damage to your opponent, so basically it's almost like a double attack because it has 2/2. You will also gain life so that you'll be able to survive much longer. So this card is so good because of the mill 10. So I hope you guys enjoy my friend's deck profile on the Gaito deck. Very, very amazing deck. I'm sure many of you guys have been dying for this deck profile. I know that some of you guys were actually like, oh, I won't stop spamming until I got the Gaito deck. So thank you guys, awesome Philippines, for this deck profile. It's nice to meet you. So yeah. Alright.
No.
Maybe just wave. Wave it.
Just wave.
Yeah. So it's a girl, very cool girl. Alright. So peace out and love you guys.